wait for it, paid in full. I have dreamed of making this video ever since I started my channel, and I can finally say that we have paid off our house. We are officially mortgage-free by 30. What I'm going to be covering in this video today is how we got started. How do you even begin tackling something that feels so big, so intangible, and just insurmountable? And then I also want to cover what we have planned next. I know that in a lot of ways, this looks and feels a lot like the finish line. We have been working toward this huge accomplishment for so long, but it really isn't. It's just one piece, one part of something that we're working toward in a much bigger picture. And I want to explain to you guys why this isn't the finish line for us and what we are doing next. I also want to share a little bit of sad news with you today, so make sure you watch all the way until the end of the video today so that you know what's going on. So first up, 30 seconds of backstory. So we purchased our home in 2016 and we put a mere 6% down. The PMI, the interest, the lengthy 30-year loan really didn't sit well with us, and so we refinanced 2 years later, and any principal that we had put into the loan over those 2 years were really canceled out by closing costs. But with the refinance, we were able to shorten our loan to a 20-year loan. We were able to get rid of PMI altogether, and as a result, the interest per payment was much less as well. So to put it in perspective, before we refinanced, our payment was about $1,100, but less than $200 a month was going toward principal. After we refinanced, our payment was a little bit over $1,300 and our principal more than doubled at $450 a month. And then after that, when we were adding extra payments and putting extra principal toward it, that principal really skyrocketed quickly. So how did paying off our house even become a thing? So in 2018, I added a service of coaching college grads on paying off debt and really adulting overall when it comes to their money. And it really stretched me in terms of what I was doing in my personal finance, my money mindset, that was a huge one, and really practicing what I preach, all that. And all of this was right after a very pivotal time in our financial life, because in the span of 6 months in 2017, we lost about 70% of our income. And I go into all that in this video here. And basically, it was the best thing that ever happened to us. Prior to losing the vast majority of our income, we were very comfortable. We were saving a little, we were giving a little, we weren't investing, but we were comfortable. We weren't dreaming big or looking outside our 9-to-5s, but we figured we could just worry about retirement later because isn't that kind of what everyone does? We didn't have any push or any drive for more until we lost almost all of our income. It really was the catalyst that lit the fire under us and made us start asking, what is actually possible? What if we started dreaming big? So then back to 2018, I'm coaching, I'm learning, I'm really developing a new relationship with money that I've honestly never had before. And I started talking to Ethan about what would it look like if we pushed the boundary of what we thought was possible right now in order to not trade our time for money forever. What if we could get off of this trajectory of just working a 9-to-5 until the age of 65 or 70 and then be in full retirement? What if we're able to do something different earlier? And just the year prior, we had both made huge career changes, so we were familiar with what it looked like to take a calculated risk. And we said, okay, like what if we push this? And I suggested, getting rid of more of our fixed expenses and lessening our risk. What if we paid off the house? What if we really pushed the boundaries, like I said, of what we thought was possible? And at the time I was thinking like 3 to 5 years and just see what happened. And Ethan's reaction to this was absolutely not. This is not going to be possible. I'm sorry. And you have to remember at the time I was walking, talking, thinking money and personal finance. So this was a little out of context for him, maybe a little bit out of the blue. Like, we just lost 70% of our income and now you want to pay off the house? Like, the math is not making sense here. Which is fair. And so I said, let's just try. Let's just try and see what happens. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I know we can do this. I don't know why I was so confident, but I was like, I just know that we can do this. And it's so surreal sitting here now, being able to look at that paid in full on the Wells Fargo app. But I'm so glad that we attacked this when we did, and that we really persevered through 2020 and through this year, 2021, not just because it fit into our bigger plan of financial independence, retiring early, but truly because I want to walk the walk for my clients. If I tell my clients that paying off six-figure debt is possible, I want to not just tell them that, but also show them. Now, if you're looking for my video on the 10 expenses that you need to cut so that you can pay off your house too, this is not that video, and to be honest, that video doesn't exist. Anyone that tells you can pay off your house or even six-figure debt by penny pinching or cutting expenses is a liar. No, you have to prioritize your income. And as long as your expenses aren't out of control, and you know what out of control means, then they really don't matter too much. I mean, we went on vacation, we went out to eat, we gave, we got a dog. We were not penny pinching. We would have never, ever made it to this moment if we had scrimped by and deprived ourselves. We would have literally burnt out so incredibly fast. This really leads me to our first big strategy that we used in paying off our house, and this one is so incredibly important, and that is that your willpower is limited, meaning your willpower is finite. Every single person on this earth, their willpower is finite. You will come to the end of it at some point, and you won't be able to hold out or practice self-discipline any longer. People don't get this though. They think that they can just will themselves from the starting line to the finish line, and that's just not true. You can, however, will yourself from the starting line to that first point of giving in, give in, recharge, refuel, and then will yourself to the next point of giving in. And when you have these planned out points, whatever that might be for you, maybe that's eating out or an event or fun money that you can just blow on whatever, when you have these planned out points of giving in along the journey, then you can successfully eliminate the unplanned points of giving in. And this is so similar to actually running a race. And they've got these little checkpoints along the way at the different mile markers. It makes sense when you think about it. People want to just will themselves from the starting line to the finish line, but you can't do that. Whether you're running a marathon, losing 100 pounds, paying off six-figure debt, you need those checkpoints to recharge and refuel. Picture someone running a marathon. They're trying to get a certain time goal, and they are just absolutely dying along the way. But instead of stopping, because that would slow them down, technically, they bypass every single water station and recharge station until they just collapse, and then they're not able to finish the marathon at all. This doesn't make any sense. Your willpower is limited, so figure out how limited it is and then start planning for those recharge or refuel water stations, if you will. When you have those planned out, then you can eliminate all of the unplanned expenses and things that pop up when you just give in because you're tired of saying no all the time. That was a really key strategy that we implemented in order to pay off our house. Our other really important strategy that we implemented in order to pay off our house was increasing our income. Now, making money is not hard when you have valuable skills that contribute to society. Gaining those valuable skills is not hard in 2021. Look at where you are right now. You're on YouTube learning things for free. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. I have paid so much money through my business to video editors, social media managers, my blog writer. I mean, these are all very valuable skills that you can do from home. It all goes back to this video that I did right here, how to pay off debt with low income, where I ultimately shoot back the question, why do you have low income? When you have skills that make people's lives better or easier or more efficient, people will pay you for that. And something interesting that I've learned through financial coaching is that the hardest part about increasing your income typically isn't the increasing your income part, it's your mindset and avoiding self-sabotage. And I don't want to go over everything that I already said in that video, but if you want to know more about increasing your income, definitely watch that video. I want to, in this video, very briefly mention the most surprising thing in this 2.5-year journey of paying off our house, and that is some of the negative comments that I've gotten from people. And don't get me wrong, I've gotten so many encouraging and positive comments and DMs and responses from people, but the negative responses really took me off guard. Comments that I've literally heard from people like, oh my gosh, you're so dumb for paying off your mortgage because rates are so low. Or, oh my gosh, why would you pay off your mortgage? That is the biggest tax write-off, which is not true. Or my personal favorite, why don't you take all that money and invest it for retirement instead? And the thing that all of these negative comments have in common is that they're all thinking incredibly small. Even the investing one. I mean, what? So I invest all of this money and then I don't touch it until I'm 65, maybe 60 years old? What good does that do me? I'm not even 30 yet. I want financial independence now, not when I'm 70. These negative comments, they're so short-sighted. They're just not a part of a bigger plan. But anyway, what I really wanted to highlight was a message that I received from someone, really a total stranger, on LinkedIn. And I'd made a post on LinkedIn about our mortgage progress and had received some of the negative responses like I listed earlier. And this one was so incredibly encouraging, and I wanted to read it here. He said, Jesse, be encouraged in your desire and planning to pay off your mortgage early. My wife and I decided 9 months ago that we would focus on that effort and figured out we might be able to do it in 3 years. Today, we think we can finish it by December 2020. It takes focus and determination, but you and your husband can totally do it. And I saved this message and I read it and I reread it, especially in the early days of paying off our mortgage, because the progress is just so slow. You're still paying so much in interest every single month. And I had a lot of doubts on if this was truly possible. Is this just a fool's errand? Are we sacrificing our 20s for nothing? Are we just going to completely fail and have to, still pay this into our 30s and 40s? I had no idea truly what was going to happen. And this message really encouraged me that it was possible. I wanted to include this little story in the video here today because this message in particular, and I got so many positive messages, but this one in particular really helped plant those seeds of belief in my mind that this was possible and that people were cheering me on, because the negative comments and the negative responses, they really are loud. And whether you're saying words to someone in person or online, words really are powerful, and long after you have forgotten that you typed them out or said them, the person reading them is going to remember them for a long time. And so just make sure that you are a voice of encouragement and a voice of truth, because the people on the other end of the line, they really are real people and it does impact them. Moving on, I now want to let you in on what is next for us, and also, more importantly, why. But first, I do want to briefly share with you guys a list of things that we've been compiling of stuff that we want to buy once the house is paid off. And some of them are more practical, some of them are more goofy, but I wanted to include it because this is the reality of having your house paid off. We have so much more money each month, and we're now able to buy some things that we've been putting on hold for a long time. What we have laid out so far, Number one is a Nintendo Switch. So we have wanted one of these for a long time, and we finally pulled the trigger and made the purchase, and we absolutely love it. Highly recommend. Kind of a goofy thing, but we really wanted a Nintendo Switch. We also wanted a Roomba for downstairs. So we're in a split level, and first world problem of living in a split level is that you need a robot vacuum for your upstairs as well as your downstairs. And it is practical. It's going to be a great time saver so that we can do more important things like play Nintendo Switch. Overdue truck stuff. So this one's just kind of adulting. The truck needs new tires, brakes, that sort of thing. LASIK for Ethan. This is also something that's been on our radar for a long time. It's a little bit of a bigger investment, and so we wanted to do that basically as soon as the house was paid off. We are also updating our bedroom as well as our spare bedroom that's upstairs, and this has been long overdue. Again, just stuff that's kind of like been pushed to the back burner for so long, and we also might be planning a trip for January. On to the more serious stuff. Why is paying off our house not endgame for us, and what are we doing next? Plus a little bit of sad news, so make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video. So first up, paying off our house is a huge milestone. We're really proud of this accomplishment, but it doesn't bring us financial freedom. It does bring us closer to financial independence. Like I mentioned earlier, we really want the freedom to be able to work on our own time and also work on our own projects while being able to put family first. That's really what retiring early looks like for us, and we want to be able to do that while our kids are still young. This is by far our biggest and really only motivation for even going down this financial path, is that Ethan and I really started looking at options when it comes to having a family and raising a family. And pretty much like 99% of Americans fall into one of two categories, and that is number one parent stays home, raises the kids, one parent goes to work, or option number two, both parents go to work and the kids go to daycare. We pretty much hated both of these options when it came to raising our family. I know that there's other variables, but like I said, most people are gonna fall into one category or the other. So Ethan and I started talking about what would a door number 3 look like for us. And what we came up with, what this looks like for us, is that both parents are able to work but not trade time for money. And that is really important. Both parents are able to be home and have a flexible schedule. They're not just with their kids evenings and weekends, and being able to take our family anywhere and not have to rely on PTO or work around a weird schedule. Like we've talked a lot before about taking our kids when they're older and just going somewhere and skiing for an entire winter. Like we think that that would just be so much fun, and we really believe that we can have it all and not have to bend the knee to a corporation or a job or a mandate. We want options, and really options is just another word for freedom. In order to make this work, especially in the current state of our country's economy, we knew that we needed ultra low risk. We needed ultra low fixed expenses so that we could afford to take some calculated risks that would allow us to stop trading time for money. And you've heard me talk about before in this video right here, the benefits and the risks of investing in real estate. And I'm so excited that we are finally able to follow through with those intentions. And that's really going to be Ethan's big passion project for 2022. Now for the tiny bit of sad news, for the rest of the year, I won't be uploading any more videos to celebrate us paying off our house, hitting this huge milestone. I really want to take a break from the upload schedule of YouTube and really take this time to focus on my clients and my coaches in my paid programs. If you want to work one-to-one with me throughout this time, you can still sign up for 12 Weeks to Wealth, and I'll leave that link down below. If you are a financial coach and you're looking to either start your financial coaching business or you want to grow it, you're having trouble getting it started, you're not getting a lot of clients, I'll leave the link for my Become a Coach program down below as well. I truly hope that this video and my experience, my journey, is so inspiring for you and helps you dream bigger. 4 years ago, almost to the day that I am recording this, I was walking out of the high school that I taught at for the last time, and we had just lost 70% of our income by that point. It was really sink or swim. We were completely backed into a corner. Just 4 years later, and we are mortgage free and planning to retire early in our 30s. There's nothing special about us. Anyone who works hard and smart can do this. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel, for liking this video, and I'll see you in 2022.